Hello and welcome to Agri History. In this episode, we'll cover the domestication and history of citrus. We'll start by talking about the domestication of the base plants that are the main parents for all future citrus varieties, i.e. the mandarin and the pomelo, followed by the creation and development of all the new hybrid citruses such as lemon and lime and grapefruit, alongside what admixture occurs during the domestication events. Admixture being a hybridization event happening, and that hybrid being frequently backcrossed into one of its parents until it's only got a partial amount of the second parent's DNA. And finally, we'll talk the history of citrus. So let's get into it. First, you'll cover the mandarin. The mandarin is one of the very few pure species that act as not just a fruit crop itself, but a parent for many other citrus varieties. The mandarin is native to the mountains of South China, primarily in Yunnan province and Jiangxi province, as well as the Hezhou region. All names I probably butchered, unfortunately. This region likewise has a long history of mandarin cultivation. Recent genetic studies have shown that there's two distinct groups of mandarin, and both these groups were derived from independent domestication events. The first group, labeled the MD1 group, called the MD1 group, is found north of the Nanling Mountains. This group includes cultivars such as the sour mandarin and the red tangerine, as well as the Changsha mandarin. The MD2 group include the Hezhou wild mandarin and low-acid land races of mandarin. Now, cultivars of citrus, including mandarin, are easy to reproduce because many citrus species and hybrids undergo a process called apomixis, which is a process where a plant converts a stem cell into an embryo within a plant. This is something that will be covered further in greater detail in other videos. But this phenomenon will be important for the rest of this video, so keep this in your back pocket. You'll come back to it later. Now we will cover the domestication of the pomelo, as well as admixture in mandarins and the creation of the orange. First, let's cover the admixture. Within the populations of mandarin, several wild mandarin specimens, usually from the Jiangxi mountains, which border the area where pomelos grow, and as such, there have been some specimens both in domesticated populations where pomelos and mandarins grow together, as well as wild populations where there's overlap between the two populations that have admixture between pomelo and mandarin. The estimated level of this hybridization within these populations is a hybridization percentage of 1.48, indicating a small amount, 1.48% of the DNA in certain populations of mandarin have 1.48% pomelo DNA. The domesticated pomelo was bred from the wild pomelo 100,000 to 300,000 years ago. The sour orange, which is one type of orange, is itself a crossbreed between both a pomelo and a pure-blooded mandarin of some sort. The sweet orange seems to be a hybrid between a mandarin with a little bit of pomelo DNA mixed in via admixture and a regular pomelo, with all new varieties of orange being sports of an orange. Now onto the origins of many other species of citrus that are brought into existence through hybridization. The first is a crossbreed between a pomelo and a sweet orange. This crossbreed is commonly known as a grapefruit. This hybridization event occurred in the Caribbean probably on the Barbados Islands. The lemon seems to be a hybrid between a citron, a wild species of citrus, and a sour orange, which in itself is a hybrid between a mandarin and a pomelo. The sweet lime is a hybrid between a lemon and a citron. The citron itself is used extensively in religious ceremonies in India, and there are many other types of citrus that are bred using the citron. The bergamot plant and the Volcamara lemon as well were also hybrids between a citron and a sour orange. The Rangpur lime and the wrinkled lemon are both hybrids between a mandarin and a citron. The sweet lime of Palestine is a crossbreed between a citron and a sweet orange, and many other limes are hybrids between a citron and a species known as Citrus micrantha. Now on to the history of citrus. In terms of history, the earliest known mention of citrus was written 4,000 years ago in a Chinese book called Yu Gong. It is also mentioned that during the reign of Emperor Da Yu in the 21st century BC, that this king obtained a tribute of many different types of citrus, some small and some large, probably pomelo and mandarins. In later years, in 304 Common Era, a book titled The Southeast Region of China mentioned the citron as a food that's eaten with honey, alongside sweet orange and various types of mandarin. They also mention a strange form of lemon that's flat. In later years, in the year 1178 CE, the book's collection called Ju Lu, in its collection, 27 types of citrus were listed, alongside cultivation techniques and disease and pest control. In India, many references to citrus can be found in Sanskrit books that date back to 800 BC. These books often mention different types of citrus, including citron and lemon. During the invasion of Strapi of Media by Alexander the Great, he obtained the citron, naming it the apple of Media, and introduced it to Greece. Theophrastus of Erso, a contemporary of Alexander the Great, mentioned that the citron was not edible, but could be used in medicine and as mouthwash. We do not know, however, if the Romans had citrus. As Islamism consolidated its power, citrus fruit spread throughout Europe as part of the trade routes they had made. The sour orange would have arrived from the east from the trade routes in Egypt, North Africa, and the Iberian Peninsula, as well as Sicily, Italy. In this time period, the first known use of the word lemon was also found. The term lemon was coined by Basal of Toledo in his 11th century book called the Book of Agriculture. The pomelo was also brought to Europe in the 11th century, but did not succeed in growing there. During this time, these were mostly used for medicinal purposes and not for eating. But later on, with the introduction of the sweet orange, this all changed. This started in the 16th century in Portugal. These citrus later arrived in the New World via Christopher Columbus in 1493. And later on, the strange fruit known as the forbidden fruit by Griffith Hughes was found in the 1700s, and in 1837 was renamed the grapefruit. And at the turn of the 19th and 20th century, the citrus became a symbol of wealth. At the end of the 18th and in the early 19th century, the production of citrus became a market-oriented activity. From its introduction to California in 1875 to now, the navel orange has been a main staple in citrus production in the United States. Well, that's about all. Stay lit, fam.